Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. It's late January here in Maryland Zone 7, and now is a great time to think about starting your first vegetable garden. I'm going to give you about 6 options of how you can start beds in your area. Or if you want to add to your garden, now's a great time too. Just a quick tip, you can go to Home Depot. You can get 8-foot boards. Ask them to cut them in half. These are going to be different, but you can have them cut right there so you don't have to do any cutting. And then when you frame out your bed, you're going to have a 4-foot by 4-foot framed raised bed, and that's perfect to get started with gardening. We're going to walk through my garden. I'm just going to give you a couple ideas that maybe you'll adapt for your area. These are 3-foot by 6-foot raised beds, about 10-inch sides, and I got these online. This company's no longer in business. They were just closeouts, but you can assemble the galvanized steel frame beds pretty easily. You know, it's just lots of nuts and bolts. These were filled with shredded hardwood. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I'll show you different ways to fill the beds, but today I just want to give you ideas. So something like this, 3 beds would be perfect. Maybe you don't have a lot of space, or you're on your deck, or you're near your deck and you don't want to dig a whole lot. These are 22-gallon containers. They were about, I can't really remember, $20 to $25. There's holes in the bottom. And you can see that I have rosemary growing. And there's purple coneflower. And this is kale and cabbages and broccoli that's surviving. You can set up trellising in there if you want to grow cucumbers. But this space is what, only maybe a 4-foot by 10-foot print. And we have 8 containers in there. If you want to do something a little bit more elaborate, you can take this space. These are bottomless, so they basically create the frame filled with different materials. I've grown all kinds of things in here. This is perfect for a family of 4, even larger. If you don't want something that big, you can go to these fire rings, and you can find these all over the place. Bottoms are again cut out, and just drop them in. I think I grew in there a tomato right in the middle, 3 peppers around it. The back one has potatoes growing in there. Maybe you just have a deck and you want to go with a vertical system. That's from Greenstalk. I have an affiliation with them, but you can grow a whole lot in there. And I'll show you that as we get closer to a container I have planted. This is a framed bed, not as high as the other ones. This is technically a raised bed, but I call it more of a framed bed. And it just allows you to put your resources right in the middle. And you always want to keep it about 4 foot wide, because your arms are 2 feet, and then you can reach in and tend to it from all sides without stepping into it. And again, different trellising options. And if you're just, you know, 1 of you, 2 of you, 1 or 2 kids, stick with 1 bed, maybe 2 beds. That will get you started. Let's spin over here, and you can see how, you know, if you want something larger, these are all framed beds of different sizes going all the way down. And you don't have to get overwhelmed and start something like this. You know, maybe you just do a row like here, and then next year you can expand if you want. Now, you don't have to build everything. These are just simple 3-foot rows of mounded earth. You just dig out from the sides here and then mound it in. This has been fertilized with actually goat manure a couple months back. And you can see, you can just do a single bed like that. Now you could put in a lot of plants. Right on the end, squash or zucchini. Then 1 tomato, 2 tomato, maybe another squash plant. You could put in some peppers in here. So you don't need a lot of space. This is probably 12 feet by 3 feet coming right up to here. I like, if you want to truly have a raised bed, about 10 or 12-inch sides. You can even go higher. And it's really nice to build these up. If you have back issues or mobility issues, you can stand and really tend to the garden. Concentrate all your resources in here and just tend to this small space. This is actually 2 feet, I think, by 6 feet. Right in there, those are 2 pieces. Those are the wells that you put around windows on the ground floor, and I just secured them together. They make a nice little raised bed. Let's just walk through. You can see the different options. Back there, you see all those black containers and the remains of peppers. Cut out the bottoms, sink them about halfway down. Those are larger containers. Hey, let me walk over. I get all my containers by telling my friends, family members, neighbors that whenever they do any kind of landscaping, save the containers for me. So you can see they're pretty large. Cut out the bottom, sink them halfway, put in all the resources you need into the pots, and this was just a row of peppers that I planted, and you could do other plants into that. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I'll go over all the planting, seed starting, tending, care, spacing, all that kind of stuff. But today I just wanted to give you some ideas. This is a space that was just open, and I like this design. So that's 2 foot by 6 feet. Cattle panel arch. I'll be growing cucumbers or other vining plants up there. Some wire that I was doing a video on, keeping out voles and ways to keep squirrels down. You can do a container garden. You just need a space like this. Here's the green stalk tower I was talking about. Herbs and kales, I think, yeah, and Swiss chard are in there. This will all perk up as soon as the warm weather comes. You can get different size containers. Make sure you have drainage holes in there. Those are flowers, lavender. You can see some parsley. You can use 5-gallon containers for growing tomatoes and peppers. Everything needs drainage. And these are just some of the designs that you could think about using. In the square containers right there, I'm growing different herbs. Now you don't have to start with a large garden like this. It can be overwhelming. I enjoy it. But just pick, a couple of containers if you want to get started. Pick a small space. Maybe something like this over here. These are 2 4 foot by 8 foot beds. Walking space in the middle, fence for growing up things, and those are sunken containers. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. That was more of an experiment, and I actually like it. But this is about half a dozen ways that you can get garden beds set up for spring. Please subscribe to my channel for 2020. I will be showing you how I transform this garden into my full garden for 2020. All kinds of different plants. Thanks for watching, and please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com.